Welcome back to Movies TV Man. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Saturday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. Something doesn't sit very comfortably with me about all this hype about a new Doctor. I've got a feeling that Russell T Davies is going to go at this a very different way. And I think this is all interconnected with what Chris Chibnall is doing with Flux and next year's 3 episodes as well. So will we actually get a regeneration and a brand new Doctor? You would say probably yes. But there's something nagging away at my brain telling me, Mick, this is not how this is all going to play out. The future of Doctor Who could be very, very different. First of all, set on Universe 2. A fresh Doctor, a reboot, as we've discussed so many times before. But are we actually going to get a new Doctor? What are the chances of an existing Doctor being Russell T Davies' Doctor? Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Because I've been thinking about this a lot. I mean, the obvious choice would be David Tennant. Now, I know you're shouting, we don't want Tennant, we want a new Doctor, we don't want to be going back to the past, that's done, blah, blah. I understand. I understand exactly where you're coming from, but fellow Doctor Who fans, something's bothering me here. Something doesn't seem right. The shock that Russell T Davies is returning, Big Finish is pretty much owning Doctor Who from 2023. I mean, it's all very uncharted territory like, isn't it? And I don't know about, most Doctor Who fans don't agree with my take here. And I understand that. I don't want to be antagonistic towards what people are saying to me. This is a hot take. I just think something big's happening here. It's interesting because yesterday I spoke about Tom Holland maybe becoming the next Doctor. Obviously, I don't know what's going on. I'm just guessing here. That's one thing that could happen. But something doesn't sit right. It's like we're not getting a brand new Doctor. I don't know why. I could be totally wrong. I probably am totally wrong. But it wouldn't surprise me if we get an existing Doctor. Because imagine, if we are going to Universe 2, or maybe by the end of Doctor Who Flux, we're rebooting the universe. Think about this. I'm a big DCEU, DC Extended Universe stand. Next November, there'll be a movie called Flashpoint, which is also dealing with the multiverse. And when Barry Allen goes back in time to save his mother's life, he ends on an alternate universe. And then he reboots the multiverse and everything starts again. Could this be what Doctor Who are attempting? Don't forget, the TARDIS pretty much has the same ability as Barry Allen's The Flash. Barry Allen can move faster than the speed of light, which means he can time travel. The TARDIS can do the same. So there could be an element of rebooting the universe and having a first Doctor. Now, obviously, you could say, well, Jodie Whittaker's going to be the first Doctor. I don't know if this happens. I don't know how it's going to play out. But the first regeneration could be interesting because if they reboot it, then David Tennant will be the first Doctor. Do you understand what could be done here? Now, listen. I understand the calamity and anger that will be felt, the furious frustration that will be felt if the first kind of iteration of Doctor Who is gone and Classic Who and Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat's kind of iteration of New Who are just on one side. The continuation's dumped, like Casino Royale dumped the original iteration and timeline of James Bond. But I think this is where we're headed now. And of course, it's very political. Unfortunately, everything is identical political these days, and it's part of that. Because they will look at Hartnell's Doctor and all the other Doctors, and they will just see these, and this is not me talking, this is their opinions, this is how people in the entertainment industry think. Because everyone in the entertainment industry mostly is not just left. Let's be clear when we're talking about the left in Hollywood. They are extreme left. They are extremists. So they'll see a bunch of straight white male doctors and they'll want to kick them to the curb. Right? And I think casting Jodie Whittaker was partially a way of doing that, but it hasn't been enough. So they're really going to double down on it by saying, right, this incarnation is there. You can watch it whenever you want. It's done, but we're not continuing with it. We're starting again. So the TARDIS or the Doctor rebooting one of the universes and going to a fresh universe without a Doctor there already. Or maybe we just go to a brand new universe with a brand new Doctor, with the first Doctor, but not the first Doctor of William Hartnell or the Timeless Child, just a fresh, brand new, or David Tennant. We pretty much know it wouldn't be Christopher Eccleston. Who knows? Who knows? He's doing Big Finish. Did anyone think he'd do Big Finish? Although working with RTD, Julie Gardner and Jane Tranter would be a huge leap considering how they left their working relationships. But as I say, listen, I'm very ingrained in the entertainment industry. I spent 6 months in Hollywood. I'm developing the first English-speaking dramas here on Cypriot TV. So I may not be a big deal. I'm not an elite or anything. I'm just trying to explain to you, I kind of have feelings when people are doing something within the industry. And I forgot, by the way, I write and direct and star in my own plays. I know I mentioned that, but I'm pretty proud of it as well. Just so you know that I kind of know how things work in this industry. And I don't think we're getting a bog standard regeneration. And I think it's pretty obvious with the name dropping of the multiverse from Tek Tae-yoon in last week's Doctor Who Flux episode 5, that they are up to something. And this is not just going to be self-contained in the Chibnall era. It's going to affect the future of Doctor Who. And I think that's what they're doing. They're dumping the original timeline of Doctor Who and starting again. RTD will start again. Definitely. I think I know I've discussed this before, but we're definitely heading for a reboot. I absolutely believe this. I think RTD's looked at it, and I think that everyone's looked at this. The BBC, Bad Wolf Productions, let's leave it behind and do our own thing. Of course, this is problematic because people, look, first of all, the hardcore fans won't like that the iteration they watched as children is being dumped because of some, political reason. So then that you start again. Now the thing is with Casino Royale, it's interesting because Bond fans weren't that bothered by it. I wasn't that bothered by it. Should I tell you why? Because Casino Royale was so good. And in the marketing, they didn't really explain to us that this was a reboot of sorts. But you kind of understood as soon as you saw Daniel Craig and this was his first mission that they started again and they dumped the original timeline. But because Casino Royale is so good, it doesn't bother you. But when you see Quantum of Solace, and when you see Spectre, and when you see No Time to Die, then you think, fucking hell, what a fucking stupid idea. But because Casino Royale is one of the best films ever made, and certainly one of the best Bond films, you don't mind the reboot, a tread into a new universe, starting again. So I think Doctor Who is going to be rebooted. I think it's going to be in a brand new universe. They're rebooting the Doctor Who multiverse. I think they're doing a big thing. Now, do they do it in episode 6 of Doctor Who Flux with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor? But then how does that work? Well, she would then be the first Doctor, wouldn't she? Or a continuation of the Doctor. It's interesting because you could finish off her stories in Universe 1. I don't know. There's so many different ways you could do this. But you could finish off her stories. I don't know. Listen, I just think we're heading towards this. At the end of Flux, something's going to happen with the multiverse. And I think they're rebooting Doctor Who. So if you reboot Doctor Who at the end of Doctor Who Flux, how do you deal with Jodie's Doctor? It's kind of exciting, isn't it? Because it kind of amps up the stakes. But I expect nothing but controversy, anger and frustration from a lot of the fans, especially the hardcore classic Who fans, because they're not going to accept this. People are saying to me, well, Russell T Davies wouldn't agree to this. I think he would. Why? Because I think partially he looks at what's been done by Moffat and Chibnall and says, I don't want to work with this. I can't work with this, right? Publicly, he's supportive of them. Of course he is. They're his friends. But he knows privately, very privately, he can't work with what they've done. It doesn't suit him. It's not his way of working as a creative. So he's saying, well, you fucked it up. I need a reboot here. Again, very controversial. The relaunch wasn't a reboot, but it was kind of an underhanded reboot, if you think. A reboot that kind of is a relaunch. It's a reboot of mentality for Doctor Who, if you like, but this will be huge because it means you're binning everything that's happened before. It's not part of this continuity. Now, it could be existing on some other universe, I suppose, and that's great, and you can enjoy your Doctor Who rewatches and stuff, but people are not going to be okay with this. Now, for me, I like to taste something before I throw it out, spit it out and say I don't like this. So we'll wait and see. But I believe there are big changes ahead for Doctor Who, and I believe we're not going to get an ordinary regeneration. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, comment, share, everything. Do it all. Share it all, baby. Comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.